Greetings, friends. Susan Swanke here from St. Christopher Parish staff. This is one video in our series called Disciple Maker Habits, and we are just talking about ways that we can begin to share the gospel with those around us, those that we work with and talk to on a regular basis, those we spend time with in the community, in our family, wherever we are. And today I would like to talk about the opportunity to share a testimony. This is kind of a hot topic. You hear it a lot when you talk about evangelization. And there definitely is a special moment, a special time when we're given an opportunity to share how God has impacted us in our life. It comes in many different ways, in different kinds of testimonies. You know, often we're not given an opportunity to give a 20-minute, talk on how God has impacted us, although we may be given that opportunity, and great. But the way I want to talk about a testimony is just in the course of normal conversation, because that's usually how it's going to happen. We're having a conversation with someone, and they might ask us a question about, something in our life of faith, or they might ask us about, why we do what we do, attending Mass or being connected to the church, or why we pray, what our prayer life is like. So there's lots of different ways that this kind of opportunity to share a testimony can come up. And so this is an opportunity for us to share how God has impacted us in our life. And so I just want to offer a couple tips about this. The first one is to keep it simple. Simple is always better. Offering too many details and too much information up front causes a person sometimes to kind of step back a little bit because it might sound preachy or like we're trying to sell something. The other reason keeping it simple is good is that we want to create an opportunity for that person to be curious to ask more questions. We want to respect where they are in the journey and give them as much as they're ready to take, and always with the eye of and the desire of sharing the whole thing, at some point. So keeping it simple and short is usually the best. And they can ask questions, and there's more opportunity for more discussion. And if it's a relationship you have with someone, a friendship, they can always come back and ask you more about that. And that's going to be a great opportunity for you then to share more because you know that they're really wanting it. And it's not something you're trying to force. So often it's a 30-second sharing of something that has impacted you. So to share a real life example from my life, in the last 6 months or so, I was having dinner with some people and realized that I was being given an opportunity to share about an experience of faith that I had. And basically, here's what I shared. The summer between my high school graduation and my freshman year of college was the year 2002 when Pope John Paul II came to World Youth Day, this gathering of Catholic young people, young adults from around the world in Toronto, Canada. And I remember at that event, there was a moment when John Paul II was giving a speech, and he paused, and everyone in the crowd started chanting, "John Paul II, we love you." And he paused for a moment and he said, "John Paul loves you too." And that moment, and just really that whole visit, seeing John Paul II and being with the other young men and women that I was with, really impacted me. It gave me a taste of being loved by God in a way that I hadn't before. Before I practiced my faith, it was important to me for sure. But at that moment, at that place in Toronto, when John Paul II spoke to us, it gave me an experience of God's love and being loved by God that I hadn't before. And after that, I really changed a lot. My desire to pray and to go to Mass really increased. I wanted to know more of that kind of love in my life. So it was a really simple sharing, and it took 30 seconds maybe, but it was an opportunity. It was a seed planted, and so when you're given that opportunity, keep it simple and short and sincere. Something real from your life, how God has impacted you. So I hope that the next time you have a chance to share, you'll be ready. And one way to help yourself be ready is to practice with someone. Maybe your spouse at home, or with a friend, or hey, I'd love to practice with you sometime if you're interested. To just kind of share something that really impacted your faith life, something that made a shift in you, and a simple way to say it in 30 seconds or less, maybe a minute, but just something real simple. So I look forward to hearing from you. If you have an opportunity to do that, reach out. I'd love to hear about it, and we'll see you in the next video.